good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I want to talk about Charjabug. There's a new Charjabug, and there is a new Vikavolt, and the new Vikavolt is fine, but it actually works really nicely with an old Vikavolt. But first, we need to mention, why do Pokemon love Charjabug so much? Like, I'm just about to tell you about a really cool new Charjabug, which is lovely. But remember that not that long ago at all, we had an artwork rare of Charjabug. And let's not forget, Charjabug got a Radiant Pokemon back in Crown Zenith. And we had that really fun Charjabug from Unbroken Bond, which you could attach as a double energy. And I'm sorry, but what is going on with Pokemon and Charjabug? Pokemon are loving Charjabug, and I don't really know. Like, I've got nothing against Charjabug. Charjabug is cool, and, you know, it's like a school bus, or the shiny version like a big red bus, right? We had sleeves a while ago of Radiant Charjabug, which I want to say I picked up. I need to go back through my box. But the point is, Charjabug gets an awful lot of love. But right now, you know what? I think we need to talk about this new Charjabug, because the new Charjabug is legitimately awesome. What we've got is that attack that, to be fair, we have seen a few times before. Single lightning energy, search your deck for up to 3 Charjabug, put them onto your bench, and shuffle your deck. You can get 1 Charjabug out, and then fill your bench with Charjabug. And we know this for a fact to be a very, very good attack. We've actually seen it recently with Kirlia. Now, Kirlia unfortunately didn't work too well. It was one of in a bunch of decks. Don't get me wrong, Mirage Step Kirlia was good, but it was a little bit awkward because the Kirlia that drew cards with Refinement was so good that a lot of players would just go for Refinement Kirlia, and then it was basically Tor that really popularized playing one of the Mirage Step Kirlia, but even then it didn't work for everyone. But the problem was you kind of had to have the Refinement Kirlia, so you could only ever really play one of the Mirage Step, and it did get awkward, I grant you. Charjabug, no such issues. There is no other Charjabug we want to be playing around with right now. There's no other Charjabug which gives us a better reason to play it, so we just go 4 of this Charjabug. No ifs, no buts, no maybes, no mucking about. Just go for 4 of this Charjabug and you're good. Of course, we did see a while ago, we saw this seeing a redonkulous amount of play with water duplicates with Frogadier. That was one that saw a huge amount of play and was one of the best decks in the format for pretty much its entire lifetime. Frogadier was a very big deal. Water duplicates was a very cool thing. It was a slower deck, don't get me wrong, but it worked. And that's where we are with Charjabug here. Get 1 Charjabug out, get your other 3 Charjabug out, job's a good un. Although it is worth noting that obviously these can end up being prized, which kind of sucks. And then, of course, Soooo and Heavy Ball won't get them out the prizes, because Soooo and Heavy Ball goes and gets your basics, and Charjabug isn't a basic into stage 1, which I grant you is a little bit awkward. But that aside, we've got a really good way to get all of our Charjabug out. And we've even got Salvatore nowadays that will help a lot as well. Because, of course, what you've got here with Salvatore is a supporter card that lets you evolve one of your Pokemon straight away. Search a deck for a card that has no abilities, check, and evolves from one of your Pokemon, check, and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. You can use this card on a Pokemon you put down while you were setting up to play, or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. And this can help you out absolutely gigantically, because this, it saves a little bit of time. It saves you that little bit of a step, so to speak. Play down your Grubbin, immediately evolve it up with Salvatore, and off you go. That'll work very nicely, and then, of course, use your Charjabug to get your other ones, and you're good. This can work nicely. The problem is, the new Vikavolt is, uninspiring, would be the way I would put it. What we've got here with the new Vikavolt is single energy, 90 damage, and you switch with one of your benched lightning Pokemon. And it is very specifically your lightning Pokemon you switch with. You cannot switch with anything else. Bit of a pain. And then 4 energy, 240 is just way too expensive. No, not buying that for a second. Okay, but here's the thing. As well as having that illustration rare Charjabug in Temporal Forces, we had a significantly better Vikavolt. 2 energy, 120, plus 80 more for each of your bench Charjabug. Now, what we really want to do here is get 2 bench Charjabug. If you can get 2 bench Charjabug, then you're hitting 280 for 2 energy on a single prize Pokemon. That is good. If you can get that rolling, this will do gigantic damage and put you in great stead. Now, in theory, you could have 3 Charjabug on the bench here and be hitting 360, which is enough to KO literally anything. That's, shall we say, unrealistic. I don't think that's actually something we're going to see happening very often at all. It's not something on which I think we can be relying. So let's just ignore that for the moment. Let's pretend we've got 2 down. One's been prized, one's knocked out, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, you're hitting 280 for 2 energy on a single prize Pokemon. And the thing is, we've got Electric Generator. Like, if the second energy worries you, then Electric Generator will get that second energy on. And now we might be rolling. It's one of those cards where, when it came out in Temporal Forces, no one really looked at it twice. Yeah, it's fine, it looks interesting enough, but it's never going to work. But now, all of a sudden, you bring in this new Charjabug, and you bring in Salvatore to get Charjabug out a little bit more easily, and now we might actually be rolling with something. And sure, it's going to be a little bit of a pain having to hit Salvatore immediately so that you can get this going at the earliest possible opportunity. And sure, when you start getting knocked out, you're going to have to be recovering those, that's fine. But you don't need to hit much energy off your Electric Generator at all. Like, maybe 3 extra energy for the entire game will be more than enough. And because of Salvatore here, you've kind of got speed on your side. Play down your Grubbin, play Salvatore to get it into a Charjabug, immediately get it rolling, and then next turn you got your Vikavolt. But then in theory, you kind of play down 1 Grubbin, and then when your Vikavolt gets KO'd, you recover your Charjabug, evolve your bench Grubbin, evolve a Charjabug into a Vikavolt, and then you're in the same position again. This is swarmable. And I'm not saying it's going to be the easiest thing ever, alright? But I'm saying that it is swarmable. You can imagine it happening now in a way you couldn't imagine it happening before. And there's one other card that I think might make this actually work that we didn't have with Temporal Forces, and that's Unfair Stamp. When we look at these new Pokemon cards, I don't always tell you this is the A-Spec I think you need to play, because it's not always that easy. This time I think it might be that easy. Unfair Stamp. Because the big thing you're worried about, if you're trying to pull this off, right? The one big thing you're worried about is your opponent just getting an early KO on your Charjabug. And then stopping you getting set up. An Unfair Stamp at that point will do 2 things. Firstly, it's an item shuffle draw 5, which means that you are going to have an easier job actually setting up. And secondly, it puts your opponent down to a 2-card hand. And in theory, this is going fast enough that your opponent isn't going to be able to get a good draw engine established on board. So they can take that early KO if they want, but they are massively, massively hamstringing themselves to do so. And then I'm setting up my Swarm of Vikavolt where you've got a 2-card hand and you could be drawing nothing for a couple of turns. Oh, and by the way, I'm probably hitting at least 280, maybe more, every single turn while you're struggling with a bad hand. And look, I know you're not always going to hit the turn 1, Grubbin into Salvatore, get all your Charjabug out, and then evolve up. I get that. But with Unfair Stamp, your opponent's got 2 choices. They either don't take the KO, in which case you evolve, you've already got an energy on there, so you put a second one on, boom, you're rolling. Or they do take the KO, at which point you can go ahead and Unfair Stamp them, and then they're in a world of hurt while hopefully you get your second Charjabug evolved up into your first Vikavolt and you are off and rolling. I really, genuinely, legitimately like this. Worth pointing out that the Grubbin from Temporal Forces is also not terrible. Single energy, search for 2 Grubbin and put them onto your bench. You don't want to use this, just to be clear, but it's got 70 HP, which is a big deal nowadays. It's way better than 60. And it can get more Grubbin out. Like, you don't want to use this, but I'm just saying you absolutely can. The new Grubbin is 2 energy, 10 damage, flip a coin if heads, 30 more. There is an argument here that it's not terrible when you're hitting for weakness. There's also an argument that it takes 2 energy on a 70 HP basic, and no, don't do it. I like this. I'm giving this all 4 wassies. I legit love this. I'm going to be testing this. I cannot tell you it's definitely going to work, alright? Wish I could. But I absolutely can tell you that it is worth testing, and it's not the new Vikavolt. The new Vikavolt, nobody really cares. It's the new Charjabug with the Temporal Forces Vikavolt. That's what we're looking at here, and I think together they could absolutely have a chance. Maybe getting to Stage 2 is going to be too awkward, even with Salvatore and Charjabug. Maybe that second energy is going to prove too big of an issue because you can't play enough energy to really make Electric Generator worth it. Or maybe it's actually going to work and I'm going to be a very happy Wossie. Either way, I'd like to know where you come down on this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Danger Morales, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.